Welcome back to our channel Rare Coins Collections, where we uncover some of the most fascinating and valuable coins from around the world. Today, we're diving deep into the iconic Washington quarter dollar from 1988. Yes, you heard that right, 1988. This seemingly simple coin has a story to tell, and trust me, it's one that could be worth a small fortune. So, stay with us as we explore what makes this particular coin so rare, so valuable, and why it might be hiding in your collection right now. Now, let's take a moment to appreciate the Washington quarter itself. First minted in 1932, the Washington quarter is a classic in the world of American coinage. The 1988 version is part of the standard series, yet it's more unique than most people realize. You see, while many of these coins were produced by the United States Mint, not all of them are worth a mere 25 cents. Some hold hidden value, and the 1988 Washington quarter is one of those coins. The design on this coin is instantly recognizable, the profile of George Washington, America's first president, with the eagle on the reverse side. But what sets the 1988 version apart from others is the fact that it was minted at a time when coin collectors were seeing new opportunities for rare variations. For most people, the 1988 Washington quarter is a routine coin. However, for collectors, there are some intriguing aspects that could make it a goldmine. Let's talk about rarity first. The 1988 Washington quarter was minted in large numbers, but here's the thing: coins from that year, especially in uncirculated or near-perfect condition, have become rare. The vast majority of these coins were spent, used in daily transactions, and went through the wear and tear of life. This is where collectors start paying attention. If you can find a 1988 Washington quarter that looks like it just came off the minting press, you're holding a potential treasure. But there's more to this coin story than just being rare. There are certain error coins from the 1988 release that are worth more than others. For instance, some quarters from this year were struck with a double die, a minting error where the design was stamped twice, creating a slightly offset appearance. This kind of flaw makes the coin stand out and increases its value significantly. A double die error can drastically increase the price, as error coins are highly sought after by collectors who value them for their uniqueness and rarity. Another factor to consider is the condition of the coin. A coin that has survived for decades without significant wear, scratches, or discoloration can command an impressive price in the market. Coins that are graded as MS-65 or higher, meaning they are nearly perfect, can sometimes fetch incredibly high prices. The rarer the coin and the better its condition, the higher its value in the eyes of collectors. You might also want to keep an eye out for some special versions of the 1988 Washington quarter. Certain coins were produced with unique mint marks, and some collectors are always on the lookout for coins from specific mints. These coins, if they are in mint or near mint condition, can fetch higher prices simply due to their scarcity in specific regions. Now, let's get to the part you've all been waiting for: the price. If you happen to have a 1988 Washington quarter that's in near-perfect condition or, even better, one with a rare minting error, you could be looking at a value of up to $88,000. That's right, $88,000 for a single quarter. Imagine finding such a coin tucked away in an old collection or in your pocket change. It could change your life. So, if you're a coin collector, a history buff, or just someone with an eye for valuable items, keep an eye out for this remarkable piece of American history. Today, we have something that could have you looking through your coin jar in a whole new light: the 1986 Washington quarter dollar. At first glance, it may seem like just another typical quarter, but trust me, there's so much more to this coin than meets the eye. Whether you're a seasoned collector or someone who's just starting to get into the hobby, this coin is worth paying close attention to. Now, let's talk a little bit about the history behind the 1986 Washington quarter dollar. This coin is part of the long-running series of Washington quarters, which has been in circulation since 1932. The design of the coin has remained largely the same over the years, with the profile of George Washington, the first president of the United States, on the front. On the reverse side, you'll find a bald eagle, a symbol of American strength and pride. At first, the 1986 Washington quarter might seem like just another coin in the series, but here's where it gets interesting. In the 1980s, the United States Mint was focused on improving the quality of its coin production. As a result, certain coins from this era are more sought after by collectors due to their higher levels of craftsmanship and striking precision. Coins like the 1986 Washington quarter that survive decades in circulation but remain in excellent condition are not as common as you might think, but what really makes this coin stand out in the eyes of collectors is the rarity factor. The 1986 Washington quarter was minted in large quantities, so you might think there would be plenty of them available. However, the real value lies in finding one of these quarters in near-perfect condition, unblemished by wear and tear, with sharp details that make the design pop. Coins that are well preserved and show minimal signs of handling are always more desirable and can command much higher prices on the market. Now, let's dive deeper into what really adds to the value of the 1986 Washington quarter: errors. Coin collectors absolutely love error coins, and this quarter is no exception. Some 1986 Washington quarters have rare minting errors that can make them worth a fortune. One of the most common errors found on these coins is the double die error, where the design was struck twice, creating a slight doubling effect on certain parts of the coin. This can make a coin look slightly distorted, but it's that exact distortion that makes it so special and valuable to collectors. Another type of error that can increase the value of the 1986 Washington quarter is the off-center strike. This occurs when the coin is not properly aligned during the minting process, causing the design to be off-center. These kinds of coins are rare and stand out from the crowd, making them a prized possession for collectors who are constantly on the hunt for unique pieces. Let's not forget about the condition of the coin, as it plays a huge role in determining its value. Coins from the 1986 series that have survived in brilliant uncirculated condition, meaning they've been kept in pristine condition without any signs of wear or damage, can fetch much higher prices than coins that have been circulated. A coin with sharp, crisp details and no visible scratches or discoloration is always going to be worth more to a collector. So, if you happen to have a 1986 Washington quarter in your collection, or if you're going through your spare change, take a closer look. Is it in near-perfect condition? Does it have any of those rare minting errors like a double die or off-center strike? If it does, you might just have a hidden gem in your hands. And now, the moment you've all been waiting for, the value reveal. If you're lucky enough to own a 1986 Washington quarter that is in near-mint condition or features a rare error, you could be looking at a potential worth of up to $84,000. That's right. $84,000 for a single quarter. Imagine stumbling upon a coin that could change your life in an instant. So, if you've got any 1986 quarters lying around, give them a second look. It could be your lucky day. And remember, the world of rare coins is full of surprises, so who knows what other treasures you might have hiding in your collection. Today, we've got a real gem from the past: the 1965 Washington quarter dollar. You might think, it's just another quarter, right? Well, you're in for a surprise, because this particular coin has a fascinating story and could be worth a lot more than just 25 cents. Stick with us as we break down what makes this coin so rare, so valuable, and why collectors are absolutely going wild for it. First off, let's set the scene. 1965 was a year of great change in the United States. The country was in the midst of a shift in its coinage, as the government decided to stop using silver in most of its regular circulation coins. The 1965 Washington quarter is one of the first to be minted with a copper-nickel clad composition instead of pure silver, marking a huge change in the U.S. Mint's operations. But even with this shift, something about the 1965 Washington quarter caught the attention of collectors, and it's not just the fact that it was the first year for clad quarters. You see, what makes this coin so special is that it's often overlooked. While many people are focused on the years before and after 1965, this quarter was part of a significant transition, and finding it in exceptional condition is becoming increasingly rare. Most of the 1965 Washington quarters were spent in everyday transactions, losing their luster over the years. But if you happen to stumble upon one in mint condition, you could be holding a true treasure. But wait, there's more. Beyond just being rare in good condition, the 1965 Washington quarter is home to some of the most sought-after errors in coin collecting. Error coins are a big deal in this hobby, and some of these quarters feature minting flaws that can push their value into the stratosphere. One of the most famous errors on 1965 quarters is the double die obverse error, where the design was struck twice, creating a faint but noticeable doubling of the image, especially around the lettering and Washington's profile. This error is a real eye-catching feature, and it makes the coin much more desirable for serious collectors. Imagine finding a coin with a design error that makes it completely unique. There's also the possibility of the off-center strike, where the coin wasn't properly aligned when it was struck, causing the design to appear off-center. This is another type of minting flaw that increases the coin's rarity and appeal. These kinds of errors are the stuff of legend in the world of numismatics, and collectors are constantly on the lookout for these elusive mistakes that make a coin stand out. Now, let's talk about condition. The key to unlocking the true value of your 1965 Washington quarter lies in its condition. If you happen to find one that looks like it was just freshly minted, no scratches, no wear, no tarnish, it's going to be worth a lot more than its face value. Coins like this, especially ones that are graded MS-65 or higher, are highly coveted in the coin collecting world. A coin with sharp, crisp details and brilliant, original luster is incredibly rare, and that rarity is what drives up its value. Keep in mind that the better the condition, the higher the potential payout. Now, the moment you've all been waiting for: how much can this 1965 Washington quarter really be worth? Well, if you happen to find one that's in excellent condition or, better yet, one with a rare minting error, you could be looking at a coin worth up to $92,000. Yes, you heard that correctly, $92,000 for a single Washington quarter from 1965. Just imagine what that kind of money could do for you. So, next time you're going through your spare change or looking at your coin collection, make sure to give the 1965 Washington quarter a closer look. If you find one with that perfect shine or one of those sought-after minting errors, you could be holding onto a small fortune. Today, we're diving into a coin that might just have you taking a second look at your collection, or even your pocket change, the 1979 Washington quarter dollar. At first glance, this might seem like just another coin in the Washington quarter series, but trust me, there's a lot more to it than meets the eye. If you're a collector, or even just someone curious about rare coins, this is a video you won't want to miss. So, sit tight as we explore what makes the 1979 Washington quarter so special and valuable. Let's first talk about the historical context of this coin. The 1979 Washington quarter was minted during a time when the United States was undergoing some economic shifts. It was the end of the 1970s, a time of both inflation and transition in the U.S. Mint. The coin itself features the classic design of George Washington on the front and an eagle on the reverse. The Washington quarter has been in circulation since 1932, but what makes the 1979 version stand out is that it was minted in large quantities. It wasn't the first year of the quarter series, and it wasn't particularly rare, so you might be wondering, why is this coin worth so much? The key to this coin's value lies in its rarity today and the condition of the coins that have survived the test of time. While millions of 1979 quarters were minted and spent, many of them have worn down over the years due to everyday use. The real treasure lies in those few coins that have survived in near-perfect or uncirculated condition. These coins, which have barely seen the light of day, have become highly sought after by collectors. If you happen to find one of these in your collection, in pristine condition, you could be sitting on a hidden gem, but it's not just about condition. The 1979 Washington quarter is also famous for some extremely rare minting errors. One of the most interesting and valuable errors to look out for is the double die variety. This is a minting mistake where the design is struck twice, causing a doubling effect on the coin. It's not always obvious at first glance, but if you closely inspect the lettering or the details of George Washington's face, you might just notice a faint doubling, which is exactly what makes this coin so valuable to collectors. Coins with such errors are often seen as rarities, and people are willing to pay top dollar to add them to their collections. Another important factor that makes the 1979 Washington quarter desirable is its unique mint mark variations. While most of these quarters were produced in Philadelphia, some were minted in Denver and San Francisco, and these versions can have differences that make them more valuable to collectors, especially those looking for specific mint marks or features. Now, we know condition and errors are crucial when it comes to coin values, but one of the real drivers of worth for this coin is just how few high-quality specimens remain. Over time, quarters from 1979 have been used, abused, and circulated, meaning only a small number of these coins are left in near-perfect condition. If you're lucky enough to come across a 1979 Washington quarter that's in great shape, you could see its value skyrocket. So, how much is a 1979 Washington quarter actually worth? Well, if you have one of these rare coins in near mint or uncirculated condition, or better yet, if you have one with a double die error or a unique mint mark variation, you could be looking at a staggering $72,000. That's right, $72,000 for a single 1979 Washington quarter. Imagine finding a coin like that tucked away in an old coin jar or tucked deep within your collection. It could change your life. So, before you throw out that loose change or dismiss a quarter from 1979, take a closer look. It might just be worth far more than you ever imagined. Today, we're going to talk about a coin that's likely hiding right under your nose, the 1974 Washington quarter dollar. At first glance, this might seem like just another coin from the familiar Washington quarter series, but trust me, there's much more to it than meets the eye. This particular quarter has some unique characteristics that could make it worth far more than its face value, so stick with me as we explore what makes this coin so special and why collectors are eager to get their hands on it. Now, let's start with the basics. The 1974 Washington quarter dollar was minted as part of the long-running Washington quarter series, which began back in 1932. Like all quarters from this series, the 1974 version features the image of George Washington on the obverse, with the eagle on the reverse. Simple, yet iconic. But here's where things get interesting. While millions of these coins were minted, the 1974 quarter has become quite rare in excellent condition, and this rarity is one of the things that makes it so valuable today. The 1974 Washington quarter, like many other coins from this era, was made from a copper-nickel composition. Most of these quarters saw heavy circulation and, as a result, suffered from wear and tear over the years. So, what sets the valuable coins apart from the rest? The ones that survived in pristine, uncirculated condition. When a coin is kept in perfect condition, without any signs of wear, scratches, or discoloration, it's considered to be in mint state, and that's where the big money lies. A well-preserved 1974 Washington quarter is highly coveted by collectors, especially those looking to complete their sets with high-quality pieces. But wait, there's more. Error coins are the holy grail for many collectors, and the 1974 Washington quarter is no exception. During the minting process, some of these coins were struck with errors that make them even more valuable. One of the most sought-after errors in the 1974 quarter is the double die variety. What does that mean? Essentially, this error occurs when the die used to strike the coin is misaligned, causing the design to appear doubled. This doubling effect is most visible in the lettering, such as the word Liberty or In God We Trust, and it can make the coin look a little off-center. While subtle, this error can drastically increase the value of the coin, as it's much rarer than a standard, non-error coin. Another common error on some 1974 quarters is the off-center strike. This happens when the coin is improperly aligned during the minting process, causing the design to be struck off-center. This type of error is highly sought after by collectors because it makes the coin unique and stands out from the regular versions. What makes these errors even more exciting for collectors is that they add a layer of intrigue. Error coins are typically harder to find, and those that survive in excellent condition become a prized possession. If you're lucky enough to have one of these rare error coins from 1974, you could be looking at a serious payoff. The condition of the coin plays a huge role in determining its value. If you happen to find a 1974 Washington quarter that looks as though it's just been freshly minted, shiny, with sharp details and no visible damage, then you've found something truly special. These pristine examples of the 1974 quarter are extremely rare, and collectors are willing to pay top dollar for them. Coins graded MS-65 or higher, meaning near perfect, can sell for far more than their face value, and finding one of these in your collection could be a game-changer. So, let's get to the exciting part. How much could a 1974 Washington quarter be worth? Well, if you happen to come across one of these quarters in mint condition, or even better, one with a rare minting error like a double die or off-center strike, you could be looking at a value of up to $73,000. Yes, you heard that right, $73,000 for a single quarter. Imagine finding a coin like that in your collection, tucked away in a drawer or buried in a jar of change. It could be worth a life-changing amount of money. So, the next time you're sorting through your coins or browsing your collection, take a closer look at any 1974 Washington quarters you come across. If you've got one in pristine condition, or if you spot any minting errors, you could be holding on to a rare treasure that could be worth thousands. Thanks for joining me today. If you found this video interesting and want to learn more about rare coins, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss out on more exciting discoveries. Happy collecting, and remember, your next coin could be worth far more than you ever imagined.